The biggest day at Saratoga is here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Pick 5 Player Show. I'm your host, Michael Pellerin, aka Horse Guy Mike, and today we're coming back with the biggest day at Saratoga for the entire year. That's right, it's Travers Stakes Day, and we have an all Grade 1 Pick 5 coming up on Travers weekend, this weekend at Saratoga. A lot of great horses racing, capped off in race number 13 by the Travers Stakes. But we got a great undercard. Even before the pick 5 sequence starts, we've got a lot of good races going on. But we're going to go ahead and dive into this pick 5 sequence starting in race number 9 with leg 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Leg 1, race 9, the Grade 1 Sword Dancer going a mile and a half on the turf for 4-year-old and up. Favoritism on the number 4 horse, Silver Knot. So deserved favorite here. I'm going to be singling Silver Knot in my sequence to kick off our leg here. Even money favorite. Very easy to see why. Last two races, the Bowling Green at Saratoga, going a mile and 3/8, 103 buyer, won by 2.5 lengths. The Man of War Stakes, 2 back at Aqueduct, 106 buyer, won that by 4.5 lengths. This horse is just so versatile. You saw in the Bowling Green, this horse was on the lead, went gate to wire in that race, but 2 back in the Man of War. Came off from third, closed into it a little bit better. Has even been further back in some of his other races. Has been as far back as 5th or 6th. So this horse doesn't need the lead, and it doesn't need to come from deep back. I love the versatility of this horse, just head and shoulders above everyone else. In fact, time form, pace figures, 88 early pace, 88 late pace, just perfectly level horse. Has a lot of variety there. So I'm just going to go ahead and key in on Silver Knot. I know Charles Appleby has not had a fantastic year with his horses coming over to America. I mean, the past few years, you see a Charles Appleby horse at New York. It's an auto bet. Even the best Euros that he's sending over, or even the subpar Euros that he's sending over, are head and shoulders above what the Americans are doing. This year has been kind of a down year for him, but not with this horse. Coming off of 3 straight wins now. His last loss was at Del Mar last year in the Hollywood Derby. So just horses in great form. There's no one in here that has the speed figures to even kind of stay with him. Measured Time came back in that Manhattan here at Saratoga with a 104 buyer. So if you were to look at Charles Appleby's other horse, Measured Time, as a potential other horse to key in on at 7-5, maybe, but none of the other horses in that race came back and have done anything since then. So I'm going to be seeing in on Silver Knot. I think you got to take a stand here with either Measured Time or Silver Knot. Which of the Appleby horses do you like a little bit better? I know Measured Time is William Buick, so maybe that's the angle that you want to choose. I'm going to go with the one that's proven himself in America a lot more. Measured Time just has the one race here. So keying in Silver Knot, singling to start the sequence off. Let's go ahead and move on from there. Next race, we've got the leg 2, race 10, the Grade 1 Ballerina for fillies and mares 3-year-old and up, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Starts off our sprint sequence. We got a nice little 3-race sprint sequence here, almost a pick 3, pure pick 3 sprint sequence. So favoritisms on the number 3 horse, Vava, another even money favorite. I say this a lot, but Saratoga on Travers Day it tends to be a chalk fest, which is great for those of you who love seeing big time horses have big time performances. Matole, Monomoy Girl, Essential Quality. You get all these, like Tis the Law, like all these really cool favorites that just win in impressive fashion. There are always upsets here, but I think this is a day to kind of key in on some of these favorites in some of these sequences. So Vava, another deserved favorite here. I am going to go too deep and go with the third choice on the line, Society. So let's talk a little bit about Society first before I talk about Vava. Society's only had one race since that Breeders' Cup filly mare sprint last year. Came back in the Chicago, got 3rd place behind Vava, but again, first race since November in June. Had a good speed figure, 96 buyer, had a nice performance first off layoff. You have to assume second off layoff, going to be in a little bit better form, got that rust off, So could make it out to the lead. This track has kind of been favoring front runners, it seems, during the course of this meet. So I'm going to want a front runner here. Society is the fastest early. Vava, of course, is the other kind of towards the front runner with the 98 early time form pace. In that Chicago, she got a 99 Beyer speed figure, won by over a length over Positana Sunset, who I am not including. I'm Positana Sunset's fine. The race just worked out well for her. Vava's deserve it. 2 back, got a 103 Beyer, 3 back in the Madison, 99 Beyer. This horse is just running huge races in grade 1, grade 2. Deserved favorite. Would, if this was any other sequence, would be an easy single. But I'm already singling the first race. I'm going skinny in the last race. I'm going to go ahead and include Society here as kind of a longer shot that I like. Some of these other horses, like Skyla, the second choice, is cutting back. Excuse me. Has been running route distances, cutting back to a sprint distance. Usually I would like that if this was kind of more of an unknown race, but you've got 2 proven elite sprinters here, and that cutback in distance, you're going to need to prove it to me before I'm going to throw any money on you. Same with Shitabuti, who, raced at 7 furlongs last time, was at a mile before that, raced at 7 furlongs before that, but was running routes before that. Doesn't really know if this is a true sprinter or a router. So I'm going to go with the true proven elite sprinters here in Vava and Society as my top 2 choices in this race. Moving on to leg 3, race number 11, the grade 1 Forego, again going 7 furlongs on the dirt. This one for older males, 4-year-olds and up. We've got favoritism on the number 6 horse, Mulkin. How's that? How you say it? Mulliken. So Mulliken, 8-5. This horse in the Narude last race out at Aqueduct got a 102 Beyer. Had a nice kind of sitting just off the pace, was able to power through, win that race in impressive fashion. That was its first real graded stakes action. Was racing an allowance company before that, had one time going with non-graded stakes. So really nice performance first out with the graded stakes, bouncing back, kind of stepping up in class here. Should be able to repeat, but there are some other horses here. Baby Yoda is just a classic horse that's been running in this kind of upper echelon for a while. Ran in the Kelso, the Nixco, dropped down to allowance company for a long time, and then came back in that True North and the Vanderbilt. Had a really impressive win in the True North, but then came back in the Vanderbilt and just didn't fire. And that's just been kind of the story of Baby Yoda's career. Just been very, very inconsistent. So I'm fading Baby Yoda here, 8-1. It's a good price if you like it. I'm just going to fade him. I prefer the improving Mulliken, and I'm also going to take a flyer on the number 2 horse, Twisted Ride, who in that Vanderbilt finished ahead of Baby Yoda, got a 100 Beyer, and again, first time running graded stakes in a while. Ran in this race last year. Not in this race. Ran in the Narude last year and the Run Happy last year. Didn't really perform as well. Has kind of bounced back and forth between stakes races and allowance company. So that Vanderbilt might be an outlier for his speed figure, but at 15-1, finished ahead of a horse that's 8-1 right below him. I'm willing to take a flyer on him. I think it's going to be a 2-horse race, though, between the 6 horse Mulliken and the number 8 horse Cagliostra, who has been racing down in Kentucky at Keeneland and at Churchill. 97 Beyer last out, 96 Beyer 2 back in the Blame, the grade 3 Blame. We got second behind Highland Falls. You're getting Jose Ortiz, Cher Deveau. This is a improving horse as a 4-year-old. Has continued to win, has the style again that we want. Early 97 time form US with a late 101. So has the opportunity to go gate to wire, but has the versatility to kind of close into it from second, third, or fourth to sit off that pace. So I like the versatility there. I almost have Cagliostro as my top choice in this race. If I was to only go 2 deep, I would throw off Mulliken. But I'll go ahead and go 3 deep here because, again, we went 1 in the first race, 2 in the second race. We'll go 3 in the third race just to keep the pattern moving forward. Moving on to leg 4, race 12, the H. Allen Jerkens going 7 furlongs on dirt for 3-year-olds. This race is absolutely incredible. Incredible betting race. Horses that are just performing out of their mind. There's no clear top choice here. There's no one that you can really throw off your ticket with any impunity. I love so many horses in this race, and basically the entire way that I've structured my ticket is I want to pick as many horses as I can here and go skinny elsewhere, and just be able to sit back and enjoy this race for what it is, because you can make a case for every single one of these horses. And we'll start with the number 1 horse, world record. This horse, 4 races lifetime, has won 2, last out in the Grade 2 Amsterdam here at Saratoga. Got a 101 buyer, won by 6 lengths. Absolutely incredible performance. Was even driving length late, so distance isn't going to be a limitation there. And you're getting, what is that? 8 to 1 on this horse. So 8 to 1 on a horse with a 101 buyer that won by 6 lengths. That kind of tells you a little bit something about this field and how good the rest of this field is. Usually that horse would be an easy favorite here. Has been working well. This by gun runner sold for $410,000. So huge expectations for this horse. Rudolph Brissett, Luis Saez. What more can you say? You got to love what this horse has been putting out. 2 back in the max field, got 3rd. Couldn't really get to the lead. Kind of sat in 4th. 3rd, was able to get up for 3rd. Would prefer to be on the lead. Has a 121 early U.S. time form pace figure. So again, as we've been saying, this track has been favoring those front runners, it seems like. So I want a front runner, or one that's going to be close to the early pace. I'm not going to want a closer in one of these dirt sprints. World record fits that bill. Moving down to the number 2 horse, Speak Easy for Todd Pletcher and Irad Ortiz Jr. Very lightly raced horse. Only 2 starts lifetime. That's in was down at Gulfstream. Had a 100 buyer on debut. Returned at Saratoga after a long layoff. Got a 97 buyer in that race back. Won by 2.5 lengths in an allowance race. I believe this horse was also entered in the Fountain of Youth for the Derby Trail and had an injury and had to drop out of that. So really excited that it was able to come back, found its place as kind of a sprinter instead of forcing it into that Derby Trail by Constitution, who has success here at Saratoga. Tis the law. Pletcher, Irad, great combo, working well. And again, you're getting 8 to 1 on this horse for an undefeated horse. No stakes experience, but even on debut, 100 buyer in a maiden is insane. And to be able to get 8 to 1.
Won the Tampa Derby, came back in the Kentucky Derby, went to the Pegasus, went to the Dwyer. Was really impressive in that Dwyer going 1 mile at Aqueduct, won by 7 lengths with the 100 buyer. So this horse seems like it was probably a sprinter all along that was stretched out, and just hasn't had success at those route distances beyond that Kentucky Derby. Did well in the Holly Bowl, both of those shorter route races. So cutting this horse back, showing confidence, letting it do what he wants. The only thing I don't like about this horse is that it's a closer at the distance. It has a 111 late time form pace figure compared to its 73 early. So this horse is not going to be cooking up front. It is going to be closing late. It has a strong late kick. That 111 is pretty fast for a late figure. So if we do have, everyone's trying to sprint to the front because everyone knows the bias is leaning towards front runners, could set up for domestic product. And if this was a different race with not a lot of value, I'd probably just fade him. But I like his value here. 9 to 2 is not bad for a horse that has triple-digit buyer last out with stakes experience that is going against how these other horses are going to be running. Moving underneath that, the number 4 horse, Vetriano, for Brad Cox and Manny Franco. Another horse, 2 back-to-back wins, a 97 buyer by 6 lengths. 91 buyer by 5 1/4 lengths. This horse is undefeated under Brad Cox, has no stakes experience, but is stepping up in company at 20 to 1. Absolutely a price you want to have here. Brad Cox is really great at getting these horses off claim, doing something to fix them, and sending them here. So 2 distances, 6.5 and a mile. There's last 2 races. I think 7 furlongs is going to be right in that sweet spot. Has nice, not outrageous early speed, so expect for him compared to these other horses to be probably 3rd or 4th, and being able to hopefully sustain that run as we move on. And then I'm going to be moving all the way to the number 8 spot with the top choice here, Bookham Dano, 7 to 2 on the morning line, which is great for a favorite. You're getting 7 to 2 on a horse that's coming off of 3 wins in his last 4 races. The Jersey Shore 101 buyer, the Woody Stevens a 100 buyer, the Pasco went out to the Saudi Derby, got a close second in that race. So even going overseas, going a distance that he doesn't like to do, and being able to perform over there is really fantastic. So he's been doing really well this year. He beat Prince of Monaco. It was only by a nose. So if you like him, you might like Prince of Monaco. I don't think Prince of Monaco's style is going to fit well here. And if I'm going to pick a closer, I'm going to go with domestic product. So Bookham Dano, nice even. Time forms 94 early, 99 late. Has a chance to be a little bit versatile here compared to some of those early runners we were talking about. And then moving all the way to the far outside, Little Knee for Mark Casse and Jose Ortiz. Again, that Jersey Shore that Bookham Dano was in, Little Knee is the one who got second by a nose. That was that race. Bookham Dano beat Prince of Monaco 2 back in the Woody Stevens. That's right. So if you liked that race at the Jersey Shore at Monmouth, you've got to like Little Knee. Again, 10 to 1 on the morning line. Almost beat Bookham Dano, is bouncing back here. That was his first time in Stakes Company, stepping up again here to Grade Stakes Company. So again, deeper waters, but has shown that he's able to battle. Barely got beat by Bookham Dano at the wire. So if you like Bookham Dano for a nose less, you can get a 10 to 1 horse also included on your ticket at Little Knee. First time in New York, raced out at Delaware to start its career, and then 3 times at Monmouth. So whether you think those tracks are a step below, the Keeneland, the Churchill, the Saratoga, the Naira tracks, that's up to you. I think speed figures speak for themselves. The performance in that last race speaks for himself. I'm going to be including him. I have the space on my ticket. I want to be able to enjoy this race. 114 early speed figure. It's going to be on the lead, battling up there with World Record and Speak Easy for that early lead. We'll see if that cooks up front. Then it's going to leave it open for Bookham Dano as kind of a mid runner and domestic product as a late runner. So we've got all of our styles covered in this race. But wherever you're landing, it's going to be a good race to bet on. Moving on to the final race, the Grade 1 Travers, going 1.25 miles on the dirt. Favoritism on the number 7 horse, Dornoch. I'm all in on Dornoch. I wish I could have just cold singled him here. But my ticket was only $18 at that point. So I decided to double it up and include Fierceness as well. I am 100% a believer in Dornoch. I liked him back all the way in the Bluegrass Stakes. I thought he was going to win that race. Hearing that they were trying to rate him for the Kentucky Derby and give him experience kind of off the lead. And then in the Derby, he just was not a part of that. 20 horses going blazing fast. It's not going to be for his style. So drawing a line completely through the Derby, drawing a line through the Bluegrass is kind of a prep for the Derby, if you will. But firing back in that Belmont and that Haskell, 2 really impressive gutsy performances there. Both races being able to surge back past Mindframe, Timberlakes, and hold off a late surging Sierra Leone. Dornoch's done nothing wrong. 103 last out, 101 2 back. Wins on the lead, wins running from second. Doesn't need the lead, but likes to have it. But doesn't. If he gets past in the stretch, is able to battle back. Doesn't give up. Absolutely love him. Dornoch will be my stone cold single here, but I've got some extra budget, so I'm going to throw Fierceness in on the ticket at 3 to 1. I think Fierceness will probably get bet down to probably be your favorite, and I also think Lord Peter Anna is going to take a ton of money. And I think Sierra Leone's going to take money too. I think no one wants to give up on Sierra Leone. They keep saying this is his race. I disagree. Fierceness is known very much for throwing up a good race and throwing up a bad race, and throwing up a good race, throwing up a bad race. So if that trend continues, he had a really great Jim Dandy going 103 and winning that race over Sierra Leone. This should be his bounce back bad race. I'm not necessarily sure that tracks. I don't think Fierceness is as good as Mindframe, who Dornoch has now beat twice. And I think Rapole and Todd Fletcher know that, which is why they didn't enter Fierceness in the Haskell. And I don't know. And why Mindframe's not here. They don't want to put the two against each other. So I think Mindframe's the better of the two. Fierceness is going to do well here. He and Dornoch are going to lock up on the outside. I think a horse like Unmatched Wisdom's also going to probably push the pace a little bit for Chad Brown, which really fits into what Chad Brown's doing with Sierra Leone, who's going to be a deep closer. Mentioned that closers aren't doing super well here at Saratoga, but this is a route race. Anything can happen going down that long stretch. Sierra Leone could be powering home late. So Sierra Leone has not missed the trifecta at all. Has only missed the exacta like one time. You're going to want to include him underneath. He's going to be running late. But I think it's going to be Dornoch, Fierceness, Sierra Leone as 1, 2, 3. I think it's going to be very chalky. Much respect for Torpedo Anna. I think she's a great horse. Clearly the best filly, but I don't think she's of the same caliber as these boys are. Just on a speed figure perspective, style perspective, could be completely wrong, but she's going to take a ton of money. She's 3-1 on the morning line. You see she's tied second choice. Everyone's going to want to bet the filly here, and I want no part of her in this race. So fading Torpedo Anna, all in on Dornoch as my top choice here, and including Fierceness, just to double up my ticket because I got a little extra money. So looking at the final tally here, we're on 4, 3, 4 with 2, 6, 8 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 11 with 7, 8. That's a $36 ticket total. Good luck to everyone this weekend at the Travers at Saratoga. Tons of great graded stakes action here. Follow along at Trust the Profits. Follow along on Twitter at Horse Guy Mike. Best of luck, and may the juleps be with you. Cheers, everyone.